Hi guys, and welcome back. So I hope you guys have been studying hard and enjoying your accounting studies. So, well, let's continue. So today we will be looking at the individual accounts for debtors and creditors. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's think about it. Every time somebody buys from you on credit, in other words, a debtor, means they owe you money, and you need to keep track of what money has been paid, what money is still outstanding. You need to keep track of whether they've got late payments, which you can charge them interest in. So that's why you get your individual account for your debtors and your creditors who you owe money for. Now you need to keep track of everybody that you buy, that you've purchased on credit for. So you need to know when have you paid, who you have paid, what you still owe. So you need to keep track of all of that stuff. So we're going to be looking at a debtors and a creditors ledger today. And so let's just first look at the structure thereof. First of all, you have your date. Then obviously that's the date of the transaction, the code. Now there are different codes. I've got them printed here, and they should also be in your textbook, where obviously you need to know what was the payment for, or what's the reason for the payment, or for the interest, etc. So you have separate codes that goes with it. Like code number 1 will be if a credit sale took place. Code number 2 would be if an increase in a previous issued credit invoice by means of a debit note. Code number 3 is returns or rebates, etc., etc. So whichever transaction is taking place there, the code that best describes that will go into your code column. Oh, sorry, dropped my pen. Then document number is the document of that transaction. The folio will be which journal you got the information from, and then debit, credit, and balance. So the first one we'll be looking at will be a debtor's journal. So when you do the debtor's journal, you need to remember that thing I showed you guys previously with the debtor's control, which is an asset plus and a minus. Okay, so debtors increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the examples thereof. Okay, so I am doing learning example in my book 6A for the debtors. So let's just go and have a look at that. So first of all, I'm not going to draw all the T accounts at this moment. I'm only interested in the debtors control account for this specific person. So the information they give me at first is they give me all these codes that I've mentioned before, and then they also tell me that the balance was 24348.73. And as you can see, I've already put that in my debtors ledger. So 1 August, the balance brought forward was 24348.73. Sorry, I'm standing in front of it. 24348.73. And now we're going to look at the different transactions that has taken place. So on the 2nd, it says you sold goods to Joseph Solomon for 4,000 Rand plus VAT, and you issued invoice 47. So I'm just going to put in invoice 47. Now the code will be, it's an ordinary credit sale that has taken place. So that'll be code number 1. Now the folio is, what book would that come in? So if you remember previously, you draw your debtors control, asset plus minus. So let's see what happens. You sold goods to Joseph Solomon. So in other words, your debtors are increasing. And we remember that if your debtors increase, that'll be your debtors journal. So that'll be your debtors journal 8. Okay. So you sold good to Joseph Solomon for 4,000 plus VAT. So that 4,000 does not include the VAT yet, so we have to add the VAT. So you take 4,000 times 14%, that should give you the VAT amount, which will be 560. So your VAT inclusive amount will be 4,560. Which is also one more thing that you will need to remember, is the debtors ledger always works with a VAT inclusive amount unless specified otherwise. So in other words, you sold goods to Joseph Solomon for 4,560. So in other words, your debtors control increased, so it gets debited. So in other words, that amount now you fill in on the debit side. 4,560. So now you need to remember your debtors increase on the debit side. So now you take your balance plus, I'm just going to put a plus there and a minus on the credit side. So you take 24348.73 plus 4,560, and that gives you your balance of 28,908.73. Okay, that's easy enough, I think. So you just need to remember, you sold goods, you still draw your T accounts. Now usually, I know you'll be doing this out of your journals already, of the journals that were already created. But for this exercise, it's not, there are no journals yet. The next exercise I'll be doing it out of the journals. This is just to give you a little example of how this whole ledger works. So let's just recap from what I've done now. Is I took the transaction, calculated if my debtors increase or decrease, and then I just increased it or decreased it according to the requirement. Alright, so let's look at the next one. Now it says on the 4th, so I'm just going to put in the 4th. Solomon returned goods purchased on the 2nd and credit note CN12. So I'm just putting the document number in so long, CN12, totaling 1,140. Okay, so first of all, let's go and see which code we will need to use. So it says Solomon returned goods. So if you look at code number 3, it says code number 3 is for returns or rebates according to duplicate credit notes. So that sounds about right. Solomon returned goods purchased on the 2nd and credit note CN12 was issued. Okay, so that'll be code number 3. So which journal will this go through? We know that your debtors, because he returned goods, so your debtors control will be decreasing. It decreases on the credit side, and if it decreases on the credit side, that goes into your debtors allowance journal. Okay, I know when you do it out of the journals, it's easier because you can already see which journals are in, but for this exercise, we need to still calculate which journals it goes to. Okay, so that'll be 1,140. So your debtors decrease, I'm just going to read it again. Solomon returns goods purchased on the 2nd and credit note CN12 totaling 1,140 including VAT was issued to him. Just want to check something. Yeah, don't just write CN12, do write credit note CN12. Sorry about that. Okay, so in other words, your creditors are decreasing. It decreases on the credit side, and then the total is 1,140. So now you remember, in your debtors ledger, it increases on the debit side and decreases on the credit side. So you take your previous total of 28,908.73 and deduct 1,140. And that gives you a total then of 27,768 0.73. Okay, are we happy? I know you are. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, the next one. It was realized on the 5th, okay, I'm writing there on the 5th. It was realized that invoice number 47 was undercast by 400 Rand, including VAT. Mr. Solomon was contacted in this regard and he accepted the debit note DNO4 for this amount. Okay, so this will be debit note DNO4. All right, so let's have a look. So it was realized that invoice 47 was undercast. So that means that that Mr. Joseph, whatever his name is, still owes you 400 Rand. So we gave him a debit note, so it was undercast by 400 Rand. So in other words, which book does it go into? If it has to increase, that will be your debtors journal. So which code will we be using? If you look at your codes, number 2, it says increase in a previous issued credit invoice by means of a debit note. So code number 2 will be used there. All right. So now obviously, as we just said before, it was realized that invoice number 47 was undercast by 400 Rand. So he still owes us 400 Rand. Mr. Solomon was contacted in this regard and he accepted the debit note DNO4 for this amount. So he owes us. So our debtors are going to increase with 400 Rand. So now once again, you take your balance of 27768.73 plus 400, and that gives you 168.73. Okay. So all done. Now we said we received on the 14th, let me put in the date. We received a check from Mr. Solomon in full settlement of the amount owing less 7.5% settlement discount. Receipt number, just putting the document number in. Receipt number RC423. Okay, goes in there. So now let's have a look. And journal voucher JV11 were issued. So we're going to get to that part now. Okay, so let's have a look. So we received a check from Mr. Solomon in full settlement of his account. So how much does he owe us? Let's just first look at that. So I just want to check quickly which code we have to use. Cash receipt from debtor is code number 4. So code number 4 is that. All right. So now, first of all, this gentleman owes us 28168.73. But because he paid a bit faster, we are going to give him 7.5% discount. So let's calculate first to see how much is he going to pay back to us. So now you remember, this is once again where you bring in a little magic block. So you've got your, I'm just going to write it here. You've got your selling price. You've got your discount. And then you've got your discounted selling price again. Okay, so your selling price is 100%. The discount amount was 7.5%. So the discounted selling price then is 92.5. It's 100 minus 7.5. 92.5. So the original selling price, we see that there is 28168.73. So now we need to calculate what the discounted selling price was. So remember, this guy owes us. So now you take, again, typical magic block, 28168.73, 28168 divided by 100 multiplied by 92.5. And that gives you 2626056.75. So in other words, his account is decreased with 26056.75. Okay, so the balance amount will then be 28168.73 minus 26056.75, 26056. That leaves you then with a total of 2112.65. Okay, but now as we see, and as we saw this thing, we said he paid his full amount, and so in other words, we gave him a discount. Yeah, we gave him that 7.5% discount, so that 7.5% discount, if you calculate it here even, will come up to 2112.65. So now we need to write that out of the books, because technically he doesn't owe us that money. Now, if you remember from our previous lessons, this transaction will go into your general journal. So as we see, let's look at the code. Discounts allowed on prompt settlements is code number 5. So let's put code number 5 in there. Okay, just want to wipe this. Okay, and it tells us that JV journal voucher JV11 was issued. Now that'll be, okay, sorry, we received money. Remember, that'll be your cash book receipt. Sorry, not the previous one. All right. Now your journal voucher, that'll be your general journal 8. So, and that's now an amount of 2112.65 that we have to write out, because that's the discount we gave him. So his account is now 0.00. So he owes us nothing at the moment, or that is what we thought. So let's just have a look. Let's have a look at the rest. So we received a check from Mr. Solomon, minus it. So the discounted selling of the discounted amount is 26056. He owed us 211265. That is the discount that we've given him. So his account is 0. So let's have a look at the next exercise quickly. All right. Now we received on the 18th. Excuse me. Okay. So now we received on the 18th. Received the bank statement showing that the check received from Mr. Solomon on the 14th was dishonored due to insufficient funds, and make the necessary entries, and JV13 was issued to cancel the discount. All right, so in other words, his check bounced. He paid us with a check, his check bounced, so in other words, he didn't have enough money in his account to pay us, so technically now he owes us all the money. So these two transactions that we've done here has to be reversed, because, well, let's face it, he still owes us the money. So let's have a look. So on the bank statement, let me just quickly look for the code. Code number 6 is a RT check. So RD check. So that'll be code number 6. Great stuff. And it was on the bank statement that we saw this. Okay, on the bank statement. So now because when we received the money, it came into it was written in your cash book receipts. To reverse it, it has to go into your cash book payments. So we have to basically pay that money out. Okay, so that amount then is 26056.75. So that'll be 0 plus 26056.75 gives you a total of 26056.75. But now remember, we gave him a prompt settlement discount, so that discount must also be cancelled. So that'll be code number 7. Code number 7 is discounts cancelled on RD checks. So that'll be code number 7. It'll be journal voucher JV13. That'll be in your general journal. And then the amount that we gave him discount was 2112.65. So his total goes back to 28168.73. All right. So let's have a look. So in other words, his check bounced and we just wrote his money because now he still owes us that money. Shame. Too bad, so sad. All right. On the 24th, let's put the date in. Okay. The amount of 24348.73, that's the amount that we started with, his previous balance, as owing by Mr. Solomon on the 1st of August, was overdue by 30 days, and we charge interest at 14% per annum for the period the account had been outstanding. So issued JV 18 for that. So first of all, so we are charging interest. Let's just see which code. Code number 8, interest charged on overdue accounts. Then that'll be journal voucher. What did they write here? JV 18. So let's just write this in. Journal voucher, JV 18. And that will go into your general journal. Okay. But now we need to calculate and see how much interest does he actually owe us. So in other words, we know, where can I write? He owed us 24348.73. Am I right? I'm right. So we charge 14% per annum, but he's only late 30 days of the month, if I'm not mistaken. The amount of 24348.73 as owing by Mr. Solomon was now overdue by 30 days. So in other words, we take 24348.73 times 14% times 30 days out of 365, which is a year. Okay, so it's 24348 times the 14% that we charge him per annum, but times only 30 days because the account is only 30 days overdue. So let's quickly do this calculation. So it's 24348.73 multiplied by 14% multiplied by 30 over 365. And that gives you a total of 28018. 280.18. So in other words, we're charging him interest, so our debtors are increasing with 280.18. So now obviously it debits, it's on the debit side because it increases. So it's 28168.73 plus 280.18 gives you 28448.91. Great stuff. Okay. So interest that he owes us now goes onto the debit side. All right. Now, on the 31st, let's do the 31st quickly. Received a letter from Mr. Solomon's attorney stating that his entire estate has been sequestrated. Oh, too bad, so sad. Along with a check constituting a dividend of 35 cents in the rand from his insolvent estate. The payment was based on the amount owing at 25 August. So that'll be 28448.91. So in other words, we only received, so for every rand that he owed us, we are only going to get 35 cents back. Unfortunately. Oh, that sucks. Okay. So let's do it. So let's calculate first. Okay, it's the 31st. Just want to read here again. Receipt number RC441. RC441. Okay, we've got receipt RC441. Let's see what code we're using. Okay, cash receipt from debtors. It was a payment on his debtors account. So that'll be code number 4. And obviously we received money, so that'll be your cash book receipts. So we received money and now we need to go calculate how much. So that'll be 28448.91 multiplied by 0.35 because we are getting 35 cents for every rand that he owed us. So we only got, out of the 28,000 rand he owes us, we only received 9957.12. So check, yes, 2. So obviously that's money that we're receiving, so our debtors will be decreasing. It decreases on the credit side. Remember, if you don't know what to do, always go back to your T accounts. If you're unsure, just draw your T accounts and see what's happening to my debtors, what's happening there. Draw your T accounts, and if you're unsure about if it goes onto the debit or the credit side, but also think, is my debtor increasing or is my debtor decreasing? As simple as that, and remember it's always the VAT inclusive amount. So in other words, 28448.91, we got 9957.12, so that leaves us with 18491.79. Alright, so it's 2845.91 minus 9957.12. But now we need to remember, we need to write the money that we lost out of the books as well. So there's more transactions that has to take place. So in other words, code. Bad debt, because this is bad debt. We had debt, the guy didn't pay it back, so it's bad. We're losing a lot of money. So that'll be code number 9. It will be journal voucher JV20. And that'll go, that's your general journal. You would put that in your general journal. And now we're writing off that amount of 18491.79, which means he owes us nothing. Okay. So that's just quickly in a nutshell the debtors. Okay, so it's debtors ledger. Yeah, we've done the debtors ledger now. So it's simple. Just go back to your T accounts. Just remember your debtors increase on the debit side. It decreases on the credit side. And look at the different transactions. Put it in your T accounts and then you can see if the debtor gets increased or decreased. And remember, this is a main account. A main account is always your VAT inclusive account. So, or your inclusive amount. And then you put your VAT inclusive amount in like that. All right. But my lovely people, or my lovely friends, sorry, you're not my people, you're my friends. all my friends there, we are not done yet, because now we are going to look at the individual creditors accounts. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe this baby off here quickly, because then we're going to do creditors account. Now the creditors basically works the same as with the debtors, except you're working with creditors control now. Okay, so let's just have a quick look. All right, just up here, let's just wipe this. Now it's the same as with the debtors ledger. You also have codes, you also have everything the same way, except now you are working with the creditors control. So let's put that up there quickly. So you need to remember your creditors control is a liability. Decreases on the debit side, increases on the credit side. And what you must also remember, also just for interest sake, where your creditors control increases, goes into a creditors journal, decreases in your creditors allowance journal, and then your cash book payments, because you pay a creditor. Okay, so now once again we can just look here. I just want to see what is the balance that they talk about. They gave us a whole story again. They give us a different code, and they give us the balance for Desmond Wholesalers, which is 67321.8. So that is the balance that we brought forward. Okay, so now it works exactly the same way. We're going to go through these exercises, and it's the same way, except the reversal thereof. Remember, debtors is the reversal of creditors, creditors the reversal of debtors. So so now it will increase on the credit side and decrease on the debit side. As simple as that. So let's have a quick look here. On the third, so let's put on the third. Received an account statement from DW, that's Desmond Wholesalers, which shows that the outstanding balance is now 67392.44 due to interest charge. So we issued voucher number V30 for that. Okay, so this is saying we received an account statement from them which has an outstanding, which means the balance is now 67392. So let's quickly put that in. So that'll be 67392.44. That's what they are saying. So in other words, their account increased to that amount. So in other words, you take that amount minus the balance brought forward, and that gives you 70.64. Okay, so that just means it increased. It means that we charge them interest. So code would be code number 6 is interest charged. So that'll be code number 6. And journal voucher V30 was issued. So journal voucher, so that'll go into your general journal. Okay, simple as that. Now, on the 4th, purchased merchandise on credit from DW for 13412.95 less 15% bulk trade discount, and we received invoice PR17. So this will be invoice PR17. Okay. So now, because remember it's creditors, now creditors is somebody that we purchase from and we are purchasing on credit. Okay, so we are purchasing from these guys. It's 13412.95 less a 15% bulk trade discount. So in other words, now we're going back to that magic block. You have your selling price, you have your discount, and you have your discounted selling price. So your selling price is 100, your discount amount is 15, so your discounted selling price is 100 minus 15, which gives you 85. So the original selling price is 13412.95. Okay, so let's calculate what the discounted amount is. So it's 13412.95 divided by 100 multiplied by 85, and that gives you 11401.01. Okay, so in other words, our creditors have increased now because we've purchased with that amount. It's 11401.01. So your balance will be 67392.44 plus 11401.01, which is 78793.45. Okay. So why did I put in everything? Yeah. Which book will that go into? That'll go into your creditors journal, because you remember it increases on the credit side, and in your creditors control, wherever if it increases on the credit side, it goes into your creditors journal. So that'll be your creditors journal. Right. All right. So let's continue. We received, okay, on the 6th. Oh wait, I never put the code in there, sorry. So the code is credit purchases, will be code number 1. Don't forget the codes. You get, as far as I remember, you get a mark for each and every line. So if you forget a code, you lose 1 mark or a part of a mark or something. Alright, so please don't, just make sure you fill in every line. Okay, on the 6th. Received debit note D21 from DW, being for an undercharge of 400 Rand including VAT. Really? Okay, so in other words, it's the 6th of June. We got debit note. Where am I now? Debit note D21. Okay, so now first let's go see which code is this. Received a debit note being for an undercharge. Code number 2, increases in a previously received credit invoice. So that'll be code number 2. That'll go into your creditors journal. So in other words, it's an undercharge, so they made a mistake. They actually made a mistake, but we owe them now an extra 400. They must have miscalculated. So our creditors are increasing with 400 Rand. So your balance then will be 78793.45 plus 400, and that is 79193.45. Okay. Is that that? That's it. All right. Then, on the 9th, returned goods value at 500 Rand excluding VAT to Desmond Wholesalers and received credit note Y43. Okay, so it's a credit note. Let's see what code. Returned goods. Returns rebates will be code number 3. Okay, so whenever, and you can remember from the transactions that we did when we did the journals, that if you return something, it goes into your creditor's allowance journal. And so in other words, you returned goods, so your creditor's control will be decreasing with the amount, but they say that it's 500 excluding VAT. So now remember what we said, creditor's control is also one of the main accounts, which is also one of the VAT inclusive amounts. The main account always gets the VAT inclusive amount. So 500 times 14% is 70, so your VAT inclusive amount will be 570. So your balance will then be 79,193.45 minus, because remember, it decreases on the debit side, and that amount then will be 78,623.45. Great stuff. All right. So, returned goods valued, we've done that. On the 24th, issued a check number 89. So, okay, I just want to, let me just write that in. It's check number 89, not 79, sorry, it's 89. That'll go into your cash book payments because we paid that money. What's the code? We paid them. Code number 4 is cash payments. Okay, and they say that we paid 78,000 Rand. Now obviously our creditors are going to decrease, so they decrease on the debit side. So it is 78,000. So in other words, 78,623.45 minus 78,000 gives you 623.45. But they say we issued a check in full settlement of our account. That means we've received discount. So let's look what code discount received is code number 5. So now we can write there again, check 89 discount. Now that we will write in your general journal, if you remember your journals. Obviously when you do this exercise from the journal's perspective, when you have the journals in front of you, you just simply write which journal you take it out of. But I haven't got that luxury, so I have to figure out which journal it goes to. So obviously we paid the full amount. They gave us 623.45 discount, so we owe them absolutely nothing. Okay, so that was just a very quick look. A very quick look at the credit debtors and the creditors ledger. The debtors ledger, just remember, you work off your debtors that increase on your debit side and decreases on your credit side. Your creditors decrease on your debit side and increases on your credit side. All right, and then you just simply put the information together and just to see what they owe you. And then obviously I think the trickiest part here is when you have to calculate the interest paid or interest received. So that is sometimes a bit tricky, but just keep your head. The next exercise I will be doing, we will be doing the same exercise, but I'll be doing it from the journals, your cash book receipts, cash book payments, debtors control, creditors control, etc., etc. So we're going to take the journals. So after you've completed the journals, we will be completing the entire debtors ledger and the entire creditors ledger As well, I'll show you how to balance it to make sure if you've done it correctly when you do your general ledger for your debtors control. I know I'm talking a lot right now and probably doesn't make sense, but we will get to that and it will make sense once we are done. So I hope you enjoyed this little exercise and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys. Okay, I'm just going to do this again like I did last time. It seems to have worked. Okay. Those are the codes that I was speaking of. That's the codes for the debtors ledger. There are the codes for the creditors ledger. Okay, yeah. Date, code, document number, folio, debit, credit, balance. Yeah. And then there, please excuse my very not so beautiful handwriting. Okay, and that's just how you fill it in. Okay, great guys, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.